consider myself astonished, gobsmacked, absolutely beside myself when we are finally hearing someone, anyone in normal, rational, accepted mainstream media report on other rational, normal individuals who were calling on global organizations and the like to talk about, to discuss the potential hazards and problems with geoengineering. Now, this is oftentimes called chemtrails by those individuals who don't know better. Chemtrails, that term has been uniformly and almost internationally tossed into the conspiracy theory waste bin. It connotes all kinds of I don't know what. It is normally refuted by people without any information as to what geoengineering represents, but it's normally refuted as being your confusion with contrails or condensation trails or water vapor or the usual vapor trails that are seen from jets without having any idea of what carbon dioxide removal, solar radiation management, aerosolized stratospheric injection. They have no idea, but they will immediately just refute what you are saying as lunacy. And no matter how much you point to what you see in the sky, and no matter how you merely ask, what is this? You will be met with a cacophony of absolute, thunderous claims of conspiracy theory lunacy. Let me discuss this incredible development today. But first, let me ask you to like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and the like. And also, which is very important, make sure you always patronize and visit our great sponsor at mypillow.com. Mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Promo code Lionel will give you and ensure that you are entitled to a free gift. I know that may sound redundant, but I'll take it. The products are incredible. They are there for you, and the amount, the range of such is without peer. So, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Please, please, please. They're wonderful people. We support them because they support us. Well, my friend, today I was met with an absolute shocking, actually this week on the 28th, when the European Commission and Reuters and others reported this, not just some crazy website, but Reuters reports that the European Commission called for international talks and discussions on the dangers and the governance of geoengineering without really going into detail what it is, saying that such interventions, in effect, to alter, affect, to moderate climate, pose unacceptable risks. Now, this may shock people because I have been fascinated by this subject for, if I say 20 years, could it be? I don't know. It seems like forever. And I was always shocked at how I was met with a resistance for merely trying to know more about it, learn more about it, and ask, what exactly are we seeing? Now, the subject of geoengineering, again, not chemtrails, but geoengineering has attracted increased interest by many countries and organizations as countries are trying to cut greenhouse gas emissions fast enough and at a celerity enough clip to curb what they believe is climate change. But the issue that is before people right now of manipulating and altering and tinkering with, as they say, planetary systems to fight global warming, that remains controversial. And it should. Where is Greta Thunberg? Now, European Union climate policy chief Frans Timmermans, held a press conference and said, quote, "Nobody should be conducting experiments alone with our shared planet." Seems rather rational to me. Further, quote, "This should be discussed in the right forum at the highest international level," suggesting that perhaps maybe the UN or other fora could be a potential venue of interest to talk about this subject and the risks that are available with the possible use of geoengineering. Now they don't talk about, they don't really explain what it is. They don't talk about who's doing it, if it's being done, who sanctioned this, but geoengineering, as is described, and the techniques include directly trying to remove CO2 emissions. This is CO2 removal from the atmosphere. And the first plants to do this are already in operation, capturing CO2 in tiny quantities. And again, it doesn't say, well, how exactly are you doing this? The more controversial is solar radiation modification, solar radiation management, which would cut the amount of actual sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface by, for example, spraying sulfate aerosols into the atmosphere. They talk about it again as being not necessarily occurring now, maybe considered. And I think we should ask, is this being done now? But the idea is to reflect more light back into space. And there is a Joanna Hay, Haigh, professor emeritus at Imperial College in London, said, in addition to having physical dangers, such technology, she says, could risk giving polluters an excuse not to address the root cause of climate change and greenhouse gas emissions produced from burning fossil fuels, which is a very interesting take. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because even the most ardent proponent of doing something to curb and to limit greenhouse gases may say this might seem as some type of an ameliorative. Now, the governance, she says, the governance of geoengineering will be hugely complex, but necessary to regulate any future geoengineering technologies that could feasibly lower global average temperatures. In a document that was issued, the commission said that in its current state of development, solar radiation management, quote, represents an unacceptable level of risk for humans and the environment. Let me read this again. In this document, the commission said that in its current state of development and operation, solar radiation management, this would be the spraying, represents an unacceptable level of risk for humans. The EU is now going to be funding two projects to assess geoengineering techniques, but said that neither would develop or test solar radiation management. The whole notion of SRM is split, according to this article as well. It says that more than 100 scientists apparently signed or were signatories to a letter in February in support of research to understand, which is very good, whether solar radiation management could reduce the immediate danger of global warming. Other scientists, others have called for an outright ban on solar geoengineering, arguing in part that it would be impossible to govern and could unleash unpredictable impacts and the like, including effects on the weather, agriculture, and look at what we're seeing right now. How many times are people saying, what is going on with our weather? Now, I'm not making any connection between solar radiation management, CO2 removal, or anything. But as I record this right now, the skies of New York City are murky. And a week or so ago, they were orange with this fire deposit and particulate matter from apparently Canadian fires, which were attributed, of course, to climate change and the like. We are seeing all over the country things that are earthquakes and weather behavior which is not at all usual or, forgive me, that are usual or typical or historically familiar. And I'm not making any connection between the two. What I am saying is this: I cannot tell you how I was shocked by the number of people who seem to indicate no level whatsoever of showing any interest, any curiosity, anything, as far as wondering what it is that we are spraying. Now, when asked about this, when I would point this out and I just would ask, immediately, and this also fascinates me, I was met with the reflexive arm of basically people saying to me, "You're crazy." And I hadn't even said anything yet. There you go again. Now you've got this chemtrail crazy. It's like, wait a minute. I've heard people on various podcasts, scientists, refute it. We are getting into, we're not getting into, we are past this. We are in an area right now where anybody who asks any question, anybody who shows any curiosity about any subject, you are met with immediate, I guess, reaction from people negatively, but also a group of people who love this pitchfork and torch crowd activity, who love to just brand you as some kind of a lunatic merely for daring to ask a question. And it's that sad and that's serious. That's all. So, my friends, I'm going to include this particular story, ask you on your own to research this, and just look under the heading, not chemtrails. Remember, forget chemtrails. That is deemed a conspiracy theory and the wrong name. But just type into Google or whatever your browsers, geoengineering, and you will be astounded by how much information is already there. And how is something that is already there, how is it inspiring virtually no interest, especially from the last vestige of science, our friendly, soon to be extinct local weather guy who loves to just answer your questions about cumulus clouds and stratus, this and what have you, but never ever takes up the subject of what is that? That's all. All right, dear friends. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great, glorious day. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and the like. And remember, our great, great sponsor, MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, MyPillow.com/Lionel. And the link is right here for you. And now I ask you to comment as you see fit.